welcome back to the Heroverse. And guys, I just got done with Stargirl, Season 3, Episode 12, called The Last Will and Testament of Sylvester Pemberton. And guys, I can't believe this episode. I still can't process this episode on the big reveal that we actually got in this episode. And mind you, I was not prepared for this big reveal. I kind of thought we knew everything, but we got some pretty big reveals in this episode that kind of makes me question. It made me question the entire end of last season and entirely of this season. I was just so confused. I was like, oh my God, and so shocked. I was like, how did this happen? You know, when did this happen? How did it? You know, I just had so many questions. And you know, we start off, this episode with Dolores Winters, and we all know Dolores Winters, brain got taken out, and Ultra Humanite's brain got put into Dolores Winters, head, so that way, Ultra Humanite could, go about it, and pretty much, every time Ultra Humanite had to get a different body, it was from running from the JSA, so the JSA wouldn't find Ultra Humanite. So it just so happened the last body that, Ultra Humanite, went into was Dolores Winters. And, we got a moment where, Dolores Winters got in the ward, and I guess the JSA knew at that moment that it wasn't actually Dolores Winters, it was actually Ultra Humanite pretending to be Dolores Winters. So, it was very interesting to me is that, somebody did find out in a way that Dolores Winters wasn't actually Dolores Winters. It was just a dude that I guess had, loved Dolores Winters. It says, I could see that you're acting even when you're not, acting. You know what I mean? You don't have to just tell me who you really are. You can be yourself around me, blah, 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 blah. And then Dolores Winters, aka Ultra Humanite, just kills this dude. And then we have Dragon King walk in. And, he's really, really trying to own the name Dragon King, because he's trying to turn himself literally into a lizard, essentially, into a dragon, essentially. So I thought it was weird that we started off this episode with that, because I was kind of like, we already know the story from the perspective of Sylvester, because of course Ultra Humanite was the JSA's first villain. So I was like, it's cool that we saw it, but I was like, we already know about this. I was like, okay, I guess this is important in some sort of way. Okay, I'm cool with this. And the fact of it is that we got to see also from that perspective, Ultra Humanite has to find a new body, and then that's when he, of course, tells, Dragon King, okay, I want to use this albino gorilla, so something that I can really, use to defeat the JSA, and that's the moment where, of course, Ultra Humanite officially goes into into the albino gorilla's body, came up with the idea of doing that to take down the JSA. So I thought it was pretty cool in a way that, we got that, but I was kind of also we already know about this. But going into the episode, this episode was pretty much about, how Sylvester wanted to go after Jordan and didn't want anybody's help. And we saw that through the promo of, this week's episode where, he's telling Pat, I don't need your help. We see that throughout the entire episode where, his suit and the staff are down in the basement. Courtney and Pat walk down there, and pretty much they're all wondering where Sylvester is. And he left a note saying, I hope he had some things to do. And they're kind of wondering, they're kind of all we can't let him do this. And, there has to be a better way to do this. And mind you, we end up seeing, Sylvester go to see Artemis. And prior to that, Courtney, before she went down to the basement, with Pat to look for Sylvester, she was upset at the fact that Artemis, has no parents and right now, and pretty much, has to do things on her own and stuff like that. And pretty much just upset of what happened, and pretty much, is trying to come to terms with what needs to be done about Jordan, essentially, but also in the fact of she still feels for Cameron, and the fact of whatever we choose to do, I don't want it to, I want to make sure, Cameron's okay in the process, whether, mind you, I don't think Courtney wants to kill Jordan. I don't think she does. I think that's why she's kind of in this predicament, which she's kind of I want to make sure Cameron's okay. You know what I mean? Whatever we do with Jordan, however we deal with Jordan, but not in the way of killing him, but also putting him away and wanting, she wants Cameron to understand why it's happening, and pretty much like that. She wants to make sure that she does it in the right way, that she's kind of torn in the way of some people say we should kill him, Sylvester wants to go after him and kill him, but I don't think that's the right, because also in a way Pat feels like, which was weird to me, Pat's like, we don't know for sure if it wasn't self-defense or not, or whatever, what happened with the Crocs and stuff like that. And you know what I mean? We don't really know what happened fully with the Crocs and Jordan. And I'm like, what do you mean? We know what happened. Beth knows what happened. She found them disintegrated, and it was from ice. We kind of have an understanding about who Jordan is and why, and Barb believes it wasn't in self-defense, which I was so glad that she said that. But, so pretty much on the perspective, Barb wants to fully, like, take him out. I mean, we already know Jakeem, Mike, and also Cindy and with Yolanda and Beth, all of them want to take them out. The only ones that really are on the fence about this is Pat, at least he was, and also Courtney, mainly because of Cameron. I think if Cameron wasn't, really in the picture, and it wasn't like a love interest storyline, I think she would have just, went through with it too. Like, okay, he needs to be stopped. Same situation with Eclipso, and when they fought them the first time, that, they ended up dying because they knew that they had to take them out. So in reality, I think it's all because of Cameron. That's why she's kind of having this, like, trouble of, like, how should we do this? How should we proceed with this? I don't want Sylvester just going after him and taking, Cameron's father away when there's a better way probably to do it and stuff like that. She really just cares for Cameron. But Sylvester goes to see Artemis and pretty much, tell Artemis, your parents, they wouldn't want you to go after Jordan. I know you want to take him out, but your parents would want what's best for you, and they wanted you they wanted you to have a good life and not be put in prison. So, you should go to college, make them proud. And, and of course, Artemis is like, what? So, my parents' murderer can just walk free. And he's like, no, because I'm going to kill him for you. And that was a really cool, badass moment. He's like, I'm going to kill him for you. I was like, that's fucking badass. I was like, okay, that's cool. That's cool. I was like, it just, there was some cool justice moment. He's like, he's like, because I said to my sister, Annie, I was like, when we were watching, he's like, oh, he's going to see Artemis because he knows Artemis is going to want to go after Jordan, and he wants to go after Jordan, so he's going to, like, recruit Artemis to go after, so they both can go after Jordan, so he has some, like, backup. But it's known the fact of, like, no, like, he believes it's his fight because prior to the events, of course, Jordan is responsible for his whole entire family and team being, like, killed, you know what I mean? And, he feels like, this is the dude that killed me, and it's my responsibility. The reason I was brought back to life is to kill him. I don't want anybody else getting hurt. So that's essentially the reason why he sent, Artemis away, so she would stay out of it, so she wouldn't get hurt. Tells Pat that, you were the laughing stock of the team. You were never, you were just a sidekick or whatever. And, and pretty much telling him off, saying you were always just a sidekick, you were the butt of the joke of the team, you know what I mean, people, you were nothing, you're not a hero, stop pretending to be, and, pretty much, tells, Courtney overhears that, and pretty much, Courtney's like, I heard, like, I guess, well, she's behind the door when, after the conversation that they have, so, Sylvester and Pat, and pretty much she heard everything, and she says right from there, like, Pat, saved me, from Brainwave. Pat saved me from, when I was hurt, when me and Cindy fought. Pat, also, when my dad came back for my necklace, he defended me, and that made me, and pretty much, I thought for a while that, I looked up to you, and, I thought for a while that you were my father, but, I'm glad that, Pat's my father, you know what I mean? And I'm also glad that, he's my hero. Pretty much in a way of saying that, I'm glad that, I'm seeing the real you, and I'm glad that he is my, my father. And I'm glad that, he is my hero. Whether you're saying what you're saying, about Pat not being a hero and just always being a sidekick and being, and pretty much, is nothing. She is saying that he is something. He is a hero, and he is my father, and I'm glad he's my father, and I'm glad that, I was wrong about you and stuff like that. Pretty much in a way just to pretty much, not give him, like, pretty much, say something so, he just doesn't get to walk out of there and think of that about Pat when, there's somebody that thinks of Pat as a hero and all that stuff, pretty much, defending Pat. So I thought that was a really cool moment. I was like, like, that's what's up, you know what I mean? But, I in a way, I was kind of like, Pat's not willing to do what needs to be done in this moment. So I was angry about what Sylvester was saying, saying, you're just a sidekick, blah, 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 blah. You were, people used to make fun of you on the team. You were nothing or whatever, this, and that. That was messed up. But the point of it is that he was right in a way of saying, like, no, I don't want your help. I need to go do this because I was brought back here for a reason. This dude killed me. And you know what I mean? Or like, I thought it was cut when he said Pat killed him. He's the reason that, he died, Pat. And the reason that the JSA died essentially because he wasn't on his A game because he kept calling in the radio and that got him killed. And I was like, that's tough. I was like, that's tough because wasn't why Pat was calling. He wanted to make sure that the JSA team was okay and wanted to help out. So I was just like, damn, I was like, Sylvester really can't think like this. And I thought he was being serious too. I wasn't even thinking like, oh, he's only doing this because he doesn't want anybody to get hurt. I thought at this point he just had enough a little bit. I didn't really know what to believe. I thought it could have been like he just had enough and whatever. Or is he like, and that's what I like too, is I couldn't tell if he was being like legit. I was like, is he being legit right now? But because I wasn't thinking in the top of my head, oh, he might be doing this to protect them so that way nobody gets hurt. And I just thought he wanted to do this on his own. That's why he was saying this, whether he meant it or not. I thought, he needs to do this and he wants to get people out of his way. And maybe he did feel like, or it was just in the heat of the moment. I really didn't know what to believe. So, the moment where he's like, takes the staff back from Courtney and said, deep down inside, you're not worthy of the staff, and pretty much takes the staff back from her, and pretty much, she tries to say, Cosmo, come back, and Sylvester's like, no, stay, and then just ends up walking out, saying, like, you're not, like, I'm, pretty much, I'm Starman, this is my staff, you're not worthy of it, and see ya. And that was really tough. But in the way, when you said, deep down inside, you're not worthy of it, I was thinking to myself, in a way, I feel like from the perspective of the way the writers have been writing the show, it's like I haven't been liking where Courtney's headspace has been lately. And I was kind of like, in a way, I don't want to say he's right, but like she's not been on her A game. She's been so focused on Cameron, and that kind of in a way sparked up a problem where like she wanted everybody to work together, which everybody really was. It's just she wanted Cameron to be involved in everybody coming together, when it was like there could have been a better way to do it, because the way things were done, it just ended up spiraling when she totally didn't tell the team about what was going on, and about Cameron having abilities, and also two about her really being involved with Cameron and stuff like that. When there was a killer on the loose, she wasn't on her A game, and and somebody else stepped up in that position, which it just so happened to be Sylvester as the new leader for a while. And she kind of just didn't care about checking in on the team on what was going on and stuff like that. She kind of like split the team apart about her choosing Cameron, and that's what really started everything. Whether everybody can be, because I know people are mad about that, mad about Rick and Yolanda being rude to Courtney about, saying that's not fair, that, that they're treating her this way about being with Cameron and stuff like that. What's the fact of when she knew that she had responsibilities as the leader when there was a serial killer on the loose, but she chose to want to go hang out with Cameron instead and not focus up on saving the town and being there for her family, and which are her friends and stuff like that. So it's like they had a reason to be angry when like she did choose Cameron over her own team and family, and pretty much the sake of Blue Valley, all because she wanted to go hang out with Cameron. So in a way, I kind of felt like in that moment Sylvester was right, saying you don't deserve the staff, you know what I mean, because you just haven't been focused up, and you know what I mean. And in a way, I was kind of like, I had a hard time. I was like, he's kind of right now, because you're not thinking right in a way right now, because let's be real, Barb did say love makes you not think, and in a way that's what kind of Courtney's kind of like where Courtney's been at in so far in the season. So, I mean, she's really trying to I feel like really she's kind of getting back into being, like, I need to focus up at this point now. This is what needs to be done, it looks like, from, what we're going to be seeing. But while all that's going on, we have, we have Jakeem, we have Mike, and we have Cindy, and and they're all pretty much together. They're all realizing, like, we want to help you now. And they end up going down into the, ISA's lair, and pretty much, Jakeem's like, we're here to help you, Cindy, like, what's going on? And pretty much, they're like, have you checked everywhere? They're trying to figure out, like, have you checked all of his, all of his, hideouts? Have you checked all the Dragon King's hideouts to find out what's going on with you? And pretty much, Jakeem tries to make a spell pretty much to just find the location of the answers that Cindy needs. And I love how Mike's like, yo, whoa, not to just make a wish, because, the Thunderbolt could get it wrong. He's like, don't embarrass me in front of Cindy. I thought that was hilarious, because clearly I think Jakeem likes Cindy. I don't think really Mike likes Cindy. As much as I thought that's how I saw it when she was walking down the hall and stuff like that, I think really Jakeem really has a crush on Cindy. And I think because he wanted to say, oh no, I know how to do the Thunderbolt. Mike, don't make me look lame in front of Cindy, like I don't know what I'm doing. I thought that was funny, but the fact of it is when he actually said the wish, they got to one of the Dragon King's layers, and I'm not sure if it's in the somewhere in the ISA compound. I think it was. And, they ended up essentially not finding the answers, but they found a lab that Cindy didn't know about. And I think it was somewhere in the ISA in the tunnels of Blue Valley. And, what was interesting is we end up finding out that, someone's been there recently, and someone's been down there for quite some time. And we end up finding out that, Dragon King's body's laid out on the table. But it turns out Dragon King's brain's not in his body. So in that moment, I was thinking to myself, oh shit, where is his brain? And we were all, Mike said it, I think Jakeem said it, and they said, okay, where's, if he's here, where's his brain at? It just so happens to be in Ultra Humanite's, albino ape body. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my god. So if his brain's in there, and Mike and them say this, if his brain's in there, your father's brain, where's Ultra Humanite's brain? And then we end up finding out it's in Sylvester. I kid you not, guys. I almost my mind exploded. I was like, there's no fucking way Ultra Humanite has been in Sylvester's body this entire time. I thought, if anything, it must have just happened in this episode. Maybe when he went out, maybe they jumped him or something, like Jordan and also Ultra Humanite. Maybe is that a possibility? Or maybe Dragon King, you know what I mean? Like I was questioning in that moment, like, oh my god, like how did this happen? I was like, no. I was like, please God, Ultra Human hasn't been, Sylvester this entire time. And pretty much, ends up getting the jump on Pat, because Pat ends up, trying to, after the argument, or I guess after him being told that, he was just a sidekick and that he was nothing and he's not a hero, stop pretending to be, Sylvester ends up going to trash Stripe, ends up destroying Stripe. But not to the point of where Sylvester's like, or not to the point until Pat's like, I think, Zeke, I need you to help me with something. And he ends up making a flamethrower off of Stripe's, I guess it's wrist gauntlet. Like he ends up using it as a pack and making a flamethrower. So that was really impressive that Pat was just thinking on the spot saying, okay, I could use this as a flamethrower and it could be a pack and I can still go help Sylvester. But the point of it is that once we see that Ultra Humanite's brain has been in Sylvester, he has the jump on Pat, and pretty much, Ultra Humanite smacks, Pat's back of his head with Cosmo, and pretty much, at this moment, ends up trying to bury Pat out in the middle of nowhere, out in the woods. And I just thought to myself, wow. And pretty much Ultra Humanite explains, saying that, everybody was correct. Our Dr. McNider was correct when he said, the cosmic energy was, being built up in Sylvester's body. So I'm thinking in a way he could have came back to life, but Ultra Humanite got to Sylvester's body before he could really, I guess, come back to life, essentially. That's what I'm assuming. So that was really interesting to me, is that, they kind of took that away from Sylvester from coming back by them getting to his body first with this plan, and pretty much, the switching of brains and stuff. So the fact of it is that Ultra Humanite has been in Sylvester's body all this time from last season, when we kept seeing, I guess at the end of season 1, really, when we see Sylvester pop up and pretty much, and introduce himself, and, and we kind of wondered why, we just thought he was just looking for Pat. But, it turns out, Ultra Humanite was doing research about Pat, about Mike, about pretty much, everybody, pretty much, Pat and Mike, to really, gain knowledge and really get into character and get in the role of Sylvester Pemberton. So that way, when, he would get to Pat, he could pretend to be Sylvester. and you know what I mean, and really trick Pat and really trick everybody. And pretty much, you know, the main goal was to really trick Courtney and get the staff to, you know, get the staff to, like, you know, bond back with Sylvester, so that way, you know, Courtney wouldn't be able to take the staff away from Sylvester, because Cosmo would think that, oh, this is actually Sylvester. He didn't die. So in a way, he, you know, Ultra Humanite tricked even Cosmo to think that he was actually Sylvester. So that's crazy to me that this has all just been a play from the jump. And what really is crazy to me is that I still was trying to process the mind. Okay, so has Dragon King always been alive and he was never dead? To the point of, like, Ultra Humanite was in the albino ape's body at one point, but I'm assuming that, Dragon King must have taken Ultra Humanite's brain out of the ape and put it, and then, at that moment, actually, I don't even know how it would even get done. I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure Dragon King must have taken it, or vice versa. I don't even know. I think, yeah, Dragon King must have taken it out of Ultra Humanite's, brain, Ultra Humanite's brain out of the Great Ape, put it inside Sylvester, and then, Ultra Humanite put Dragon King's brain inside the albino ape's body. And I'm assuming that they both came across Jordan, and then Dragon King came across Jordan, and they made that plan. And then I think Ultra Humanite and Dragon King were together when the plan was created by Dragon King and Jordan. But Ultra Humanite apparently said he had his own plans. He's like, I don't really care about, Jordan's plan. At least that's what he made it sound like. He's like, I missed the glory that I had of everybody, pretty much looking at me like a star when I was in Dolores's body, and I missed that. So that's why I wanted to have that stardom feel again. So I said, you know what, why don't I be in Sylvester's body? And that just so happened it was at the right time with all the cosmic energy being built up in Sylvester, where, like, his body was still alive and it was kind of in hibernation. So it's crazy to me that and we know that's, kind of like, we know that Courtney figured it out on the fact of, because Rick in this episode, pretty much, he is, like, in terrible shape. Like, he took the hourglass off, and then literally was, like, going in and out, and pretty much, seeing red, and pretty much, he looked like he was dying, essentially. And I thought to the point, like, he was exposed to the hourglass for too long, where, like, maybe he needs it on to, like, survive at this point. And I'm not quite sure, like, how he's gonna get fixed again, like how he's gonna be a full 100% for the next episode. Other than the fact I'm thinking they put the what is it called, the limiter back in, and pretty much he is just okay again. I'm pretty sure they just need to put the limiter back in, and then he should be fine. Because yeah, he had to go to Beth and Yolanda and Courtney and pretty much say that, I need help, and pretty much was crying, because he in a way realized that I made a mistake by taking this out. I should have listened to Beth. Look what's happening to me. And pretty much, they're like, you need to take it off. But, like, when he takes it off, he, is hurting when he takes it off, because he's been exposed for it too long. And pretty much at this point, I forget who said it. Like, I guess, Rick tells them, saying, Sylvester's the one that told me that, that pointed the dampener out and said I could take it out or whatever. And I forget who said it, where it's like, they said, like, Sylvester would know or whatever that taking the dampener out would be a bad decision. So, if Sylvester, were to know that and was around when that happened to Rick's father, why would he suggest to Rick to take it out after he knew what it did to Rick's father? I think Beth did the research saying that your father had a similar experience where he took the limiter out, and, and this happened to him too. And, that's why they had to put the limiter back in or whatever. Or I guess he was messing around with it probably before the limiter was even put in. And it was hurting him to the point or whatever, and wasn't making him think straight and stuff. And that's why he put the limiter in to begin with. So that's why they kind of put the piece together, saying if Sylvester had this issue with, with Rick's father before, why would he tell him to put it, to take the dampener out or the limiter out after, he would have just had that same experience with Rick's father. And then I feel like that in a way that's when Courtney realized, oh my god, like I don't think it is Sylvester. In a way, like maybe she kind of like had that, like I think she kind of realized that in that moment, that oh my god, I don't think it's actually Sylvester. And I think in a way they'll definitely all figure it out, if not then in the next episode, that oh my god. And I think it's also because I think that, you know, Cindy, Jakeem, and Mike all left in running out away from, you know, Dragon King, and you know, what is it, in the albino ape's body, and pretty much tried to leave to go tell everybody probably that oh my god, my father is back, and also Ultra Humanite's brain has been in Sylvester's body this entire time. And I think in a way Courtney would be like, okay, that makes sense why he wouldn't remember, or like, you know, that, you know, what happened with Rick's father in the limiter, and why that, you know, Ultra Humanite said that so that way it would hurt Rick or whatever, to, you know, to get Rick out of the picture. Because I think also Ultra Humanite was smart enough to know that with Rick in full condition, he would have been a problem in a fight with, and that made me think to also with Artemis being there, that's also somebody that, you know, Ultra Humanite's like, you know, we need to thin out the herd. We can't have everybody being, you know, united against us, because Jordan, if anything, Jordan knows when everybody comes together, they're unstoppable, hence why they took out Eclipso. So in a way, it was smart from Jordan, and, you know, of course, you know, also Dragon King and Ultra Humanite to pretty much, you know, to get in on the inside as that. And I'm pretty sure that was probably a part of their plan to begin with, is like, okay, you know, we're gonna, you know, I'm not even sure really whose plan it was initially, that one, I think it was kind of like Ultra Humanite that wanted to go into Sylvester's body, but also be a part of Jordan and Dragon King's plan of like, oh, you know, going in, you know, befriending everybody, you know what I mean, and pretty much, you know, being on the inside and pretty much trying to split everybody apart. Have, you know, Artemis go to college, and, you know, and pretty much, you know, telling Yolanda to keep her guard up about Cindy, because if anybody was going to realize that Sylvester wasn't actually Sylvester, it would have been Cindy, because she sees through the bullshit. And also, who else? And also getting Rick to, you know, take out the limiter so that way he would get hurt and stuff like that. So it was very smart on Jordan's plan and everybody's, and Dragon King probably, and also, you know, Sylvester, to all do that to the team, because Jordan would know everybody that come together would be a problem. But I don't know. It should be very interesting to see what happens in the next episode, because, you know, while Ultra Humanite is like burying Pat, we get to the point where like Pat doesn't respond anymore to Ultra Humanite talking, and pretty much I don't think he's dead, but they end the episode right there, where it's like, you know, we end up going down into the hole that Pat was, you know, put in, and has been covered in dirt. And pretty much, you know, we end up the episode just ends, and I was just thinking to myself, he's not dead. There's no way he's dead. And I'm gonna put up next week's episode, preview right up right now.
Where's Pat?
Pat's gone.
So as you guys can see, it's about to go down. Rick, I guess they end up fixing what's going on with Rick. I think it's like they put the limiter back in, and then he's okay. It just like, it probably will heal him, and it'll like and undo everything that happened to him, I'm assuming. And, you know, with, you know, the moment where like Courtney's like, where's Pat, and that's when Sylvester's like, yo, he's gone. And pretty much, you know, I don't think he is. I think he'll come in at some point. I really don't think that they would kill off Pat. I mean, I know that this is the last season, but I don't think that they would kill off Pat. On top of that, it really annoys me that Sylvester, which we know wasn't really Sylvester, told Beth and Yolanda to you know, recruit and make the JSA bigger, because, you know, people didn't get to, you know, their bloodline stopped in the big fight that happened against the ISA and the JSA. A lot of people's bloodlines were lost, and pretty much he said, you know, I want you guys to recruit and pretty much, you know, and, you know, rebuild the JSA, you know what I mean, and let those and not let my friends' legacies die for nothing. And pretty much I was like, I can't believe they're like trying to, like, they're telling us that they, you know, are going to build up the team, yet we know that they're not having a season 4. That really annoys me. I was like, I can't believe they just did this. I was like, wow. And I don't know why Ultra Humanite would even want to say that to them. I didn't understand that. I was like, now knowing that Ultra Humanite is pretending to be Sylvester, I can't believe he would tell them to rebuild the JSA. That didn't make sense to me a little bit. I was like, why is he telling them to want to rebuild up the team? I was like, that doesn't really make sense. So I don't know. I mean, also, I don't know if, like, you know, in a way, him being inside, like, maybe he, like, Ultra Humanite is, like, because the moment where, like, where Pat was trying to trick, you know, Ultra Humanite by saying, you know, Sylvester, you're my friend, you know, please help me out of here. I feel like, in a way, Ultra Humanite has been in the role for so long that maybe, I don't want to say that he's, like, turning into Sylvester, because he even said to Pat, oh, you almost got me. You know what I mean? You almost got me there. And so I feel like, in a way, he was trying to, I know he was trying to trick Ultra Humanite to get him out of the hole, but in a way, I feel like, is there a way he feels bad about what he was doing, Ultra Humanite, because he's kind of, like, grown to like becoming friends with Pat and everybody. And you guys get what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm interested to see how that's going to go down, that fight next week, because that's going to be insane. I'm super excited. And it looks like we're going to have a showdown between Courtney and between Ultra Humanite and Sylvester's body. So we're going to have a showdown between Stargirl and Starman. So I'm excited to see how that goes. Especially, I feel like, in a way, will Cosmo, now knowing that actually isn't Sylvester, will Cosmo still want to stay? Or I'm assuming Cosmo could just go back to Courtney if Cosmo really wanted to. But there's a reason why, you know, Sylvester said, you know, or I guess Ultra Humanite said I needed to make a bond with Cosmo, so that way the bond would be complete and I would have full control over the staff. But it's kind of like, I don't know, like, I feel like the staff could just leave if it really wanted to, and because it's kind of like it's kind of like a living being in a sense, in a way, if that makes any sense. So I don't know. I'm really curious to know how that will go. Also, this just confirms that everything that we've been told, everything that, you know, Rick, Yolanda, Beth, about keeping her family away, that's just was at that was just at the gain of Ultra Humanite pretty much making everybody do the exact opposite that will keep everybody together to take them down. Like their strengths, Beth with her family, that's a strength. But he wanted to have Beth keep her family be distanced when she is Dr. Midnight. And then, of course, you know, Yolanda keeping her, you know, her guard up and keeping Cindy away. That's another thing that helped out the Ultra Humanite. It's like all these things he did, and the things he did made it so that everybody wouldn't come together and everybody would split apart. And that was the main goal, because, again, Jordan would know, if anything, that everybody together would be a problem. And I think that's why really that Jordan probably told Ultra Humanite, I need you to get everybody to split apart. Do your best where you also don't give yourself away. So, like, pretend that you're giving them, like, knowledge about your past experiences of being a part of the JSA and trusting your gut's a good idea. And also the trope of, like, oh, you know, you want to have your family involved when you're being a hero and stuff like that. Tell Beth that. I feel like Jordan, in a way, has been behind all of this, telling them what to do, especially telling Ultra Humanite what to do in the role as Sylvester. So I don't know, it was just pure genius on the villains' behalf of all three of them. And I'm just excited to see how this will all go, because now we are kind of like, we're really outnumbered within strength, I would say, because we don't have the Crocs anymore. We have Artemis. I feel like Artemis also will come back. I have a feeling that, you know, Artemis will fight in the final fight, possibly. I feel like she just will know that they need help, or maybe they'll say, we need your help. And so Sylvester was trying to play you, and it actually wasn't Sylvester. I feel like, in a way, she'll come back, Artemis, for the fight. I feel like also I feel like Barb would be in the fight, because I feel like Barb will finally get that one good shot that, you know, it'll come back to the moment where, like, she was trying to shoot with Paul, like Paul was trying to teach her how to shoot the crossbow, but she couldn't do it. I think that will come around again, and she'll finally get the shot. It'd be funny if she got it on Jordan. That would be really funny if she just pulled that off. As like a coming around thing again. Also, we know that Jakeem, and I don't know how Mike's gonna fight in it without like unless he's gonna be in armor or bring something with him. And also we know Cindy's gonna fight, and we know Beth, of course, Yolanda, Rick, all of them are gonna be fighting as well. But I'm just excited to see how that will all go because they are very outnumbered now. Unless Shade, dude, it'd be cool if Shade came back. It'd be cool if like, Jenny and also Jenny's brother, which I can't even remember. Like I forget what his name is. I already forget. But it'd be really cool if he came back as well, and maybe also the Sand. I think it's the Sandman's grandson. Grandson, if I'm correct. If he came in too, that would be freaking cool. If like we had like a big moment, that'd be really sick. And pretty much their plans would be foiled about having everybody having all the team split apart. It's all them coming together. That'd be really cool. I don't know if that's what will happen or not. I just feel like we're in for a good fight, in good fun like series finale next week. It just bums me out. It's the series finale, guys. I'm not ready. I feel like in a way, Jeff Johns isn't ready by him saying, you know what I mean? Like the whole, kind of like, there's a reason that the whole, like, build the team up. I feel like there's a reason for that. And also it sucks because we also saw Mr. Bones wanting to build up his own team. So it's like, it bums me out because there was so much potential here for some great storytelling going into like a season 4, a season 5. I just really hope that it gets picked up by HBO Max. It probably won't. I could see the show I think it's just going to be done. I don't know if anybody's going to fight to keep this show going on a different, on a streaming service or hell, and even on a different platform. I don't know if anybody's going to fight for that. I would hope they would, but, sometimes I guess you can't, and it's just, things got to end, which sucks because I love this show. How we all love this show. But guys, yet again here, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, put in notifications, like this video. I would love to have you guys here, a part of the fam, a part of the channel. We're all about spreading love, positivity, and motivation. And guys, yet again, we are almost to 600 subscribers right now. We're at 550, I think 553, if I'm correct. I believe so. I think we are at 553 right now. We're almost to 600 subscribers, and that's the goal, to get to 600. It'd be amazing if I can get to 600, or we're at 573. It'd be amazing if we can get to 600 before the end of the year. That'd be amazing. So yet again here, if you are new, subscribe to the channel, put in notifications, like this video, and yeah, let me know what did that shock you? That, kind of like, reveal that Sylvester has never been Sylvester, has actually been Ultra Humanite, and Ultra Humanite, and also Ultra Humanite hasn't been in the albino ape's body. It's actually been Dragon King. Like, that's crazy. My sister was right about Dragon King being alive. She was. That's crazy. But he's just been alive in the ape body. That's insane to me. Wow. I can't believe this. Oh man, this season was just really good with the twists and turns and stuff like that. And wow, I love this. Who knows? Also, I'm worried about if I think Cameron's going to be like on their side at first, possibly. I don't know. I'm really curious to know what side you guys think Cameron will stand on. I feel like maybe his father's at first, and we'll find out that he hasn't changed and that he won't change, and that he has like really bad plans and wants to kill Courtney and the JSA. I feel like at that point when he finds that out, he's gonna like switch sides. But who knows? I'm really excited to see what will happen if like we'll start out with him fighting on their side first and realizing, oh my god, my father actually hasn't changed and he's actually worse. You know what I mean? Is that monster that everybody said that he was. I'm wondering how that will all go. So definitely let me know your theories for next week's episode. Let me know, what you guys think is going to happen. Also, I want to know, did you guys catch that reveal happening about Sylvester and about Dragon King? Did you guys catch any of that? I'm really curious to know. Also, yet again, what do you guys think? Like, I want to know, how do you guys think that Rick is going to recover to fight in next week's episode? Like, what do you think that they'll do? I think they'll just put the limiter back in, and that should, like, fix everything, possibly. Who knows? He's just been exposed without the limiter for quite some time. So I don't know like what damage that's done to him, that he's just been exposed for that long. Who knows? It might not be really any damage, and once he puts the limiter back in, he'll be good. But guys, yet again, that was the video. Everybody has a great day, a safe day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.